Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share an update on my experience with the HP Spectre X360 2-in-1. This is the 13T, which sports a 13.3-inch 4K OLED display that is, of course, touchscreen and does come with a pen for inking. In my opinion, the best 13.3-inch display on the market right now, but also the only 13.3-inch 4K OLED on any device to this point. We also, of course, as the main feature of the refresh, have Intel's 10th Gen Core i7 CPU under the hood, a 1065 G7, that's the variant, with Iris Plus graphics, 16 gigs of RAM, a 1 terabyte Intel SSD, and we also have a micro SD card slot. We have two Type-C ports on the right side that have Thunderbolt connectivity, a Type-A port on the left, and a 3.5mm combo headphone microphone jack. We also have our webcam that supports Windows Hello, which works flawlessly. But today's video is about two things. Number one, I got an HP update here for the BIOS, which I'm hoping is going to actually change some things, maybe optimize battery even more so. But the only things they, being HP, actually point out is that this latest revision, that's F.06 revision A, will essentially fix intermittent issues which cause the system to shut down unexpectedly. Apparently, they also don't know how to space in an expected fashion. Updates also the Intel CPU microcode to improve system stability. So we'll see how that goes. That was pushed on the 1st, but I just saw it today, 22 megabytes. And then the other thing is the OLED display. Now, a lot of you have expressed concerns about burn-in, and you don't need to express them to me because I am a victim of such things. I have a lot of LG OLED TVs in the house, as we know. Samsung still doesn't make any OLED TVs, even though they make more OLED displays for mobile devices than anyone else on Earth. They aren't the #1 manufacturer of OLEDs, but they are when it comes to mobile devices. So it's a little bit of a head scratcher as to why Samsung would make a panel, because again, I am fairly certain this is a Samsung panel, like most of the OLEDs we find right now in 15.6-inch laptops. This is the first, again, in the 13.3 arena with a 4K display. And color accuracy is great outside of white being a little warm. Everything else just blows LCD straight out of the water. A lot of you have pointed out that you often see, besides the fact that the color white is a little bit warmer on this than an IPS display, that is an LCD display, that you also have noticed banding or diamond-like, screen door effect. I don't really see that. All I see is a better display for the most part, and I'm very anal about these things, so trust me, if I saw it, I'd call it out. There's a little bit of a screen door effect with with most digitizers, so when you have a touchscreen display, you're going to run into that, especially, it shouldn't be something that you see. It shouldn't mar or impede your ability to see things or dirty up the way font looks or anything like that, but I haven't noticed that with this machine. So those of you that are noticing it, I would get rid of it. I mean, if I saw it, you better believe this thing would be out the door. Build quality issues, yeah, there are some. The popping issue right here on the right side of the machine, there it is. This is something that I'm hoping when I exchange this, that will go away, and I'll probably be doing that soon. Keyboard is great, backlight is great, audio performance is good, not great, gets a little bit blown out at the top of the spectrum. Touchpad, really nice, like that they've incorporated those precision drivers, but it does have a little bit of a wobble that it should not have. All of that aside, again, the display is fantastic, but the retention issue, burn-in, I can't tell you that you're not going to get burn-in with this display. As I mentioned a minute and a half ago or whatever it was, I'm a victim of it. I have a 65-inch OLED. It's a 2nd-gen panel, 4K TV from LG that is burnt in, and I cannot do anything about it. LG is not going to do anything about it. It's just the way the cookie crumbles when you're dealing with new technology that has issues. I mean, I went through the plasma years. Those had issues as well. LCD, some panels have it, some don't. It's really a matter of how well the manufacturer addresses or approaches preventing these things. So I can't say anything more than that I expect not to have any burn-in issues. You can go with the dark theme and try to keep as much content that you have control of black so that you will improve battery life as well as hope to prevent retention and burn-in. But The reality is that it can happen. I mean, it's part of the tech. Do I think that it will? Yes and no. I mean, I don't think it will because Samsung, again, is making all of these OLED panels for laptops, and they're going to have a heavy load of liability dropped on them if all of a sudden we all have screens with burn-in. And God knows the taskbar is static. It's always there unless you eliminate it, which you can do, and maybe you want to if you buy this. But overall, I don't think that you'll have problems because, again, Samsung would just, they wouldn't be able to furnish these anymore. It would be over. On the other hand, the other thing that bothers me, I already mentioned, which is why is Samsung not using these panels in their new offerings in the Ultrabook market? I mean, they're using their new QLEDs, which they're also marketing the crap out of for TVs. And I'm not sure if that's just a tactic to try to fight LG's OLED dominance. And they mention burn-in all the time, so it would be very ironic for them to be making displays like this that have burn-in. Now, my Samsung phones in the past, which have had OLEDs for many years, have not had burn-in, but I can tell you that my Pixel XL Gen 1, the burn-in, severe, very severe. Now, it will take time, so also realistically, if you are going to get burn-in, it might take 2 or 3 years. Do you expect to still be using that PC in 2 or 3 years? I do. Many of you don't. Some of you upgrade every year, every 2 years. But it's realistic that it may have burn-in in that period of time. I know that when LG's TVs were first introduced to the market, they claimed 30,000 hours of longevity without burn-in or retention. And the reality of testing back then was more like 4,000 hours. So it's just one of those things that you have to be prepared to take on. I think it's worth the rub. The display quality is amazing, as good as the Lenovo C940 is, and that's a beautiful machine that doesn't have the build quality issues that the HP does. It doesn't have a display that is as good as what we're looking at here. And I mean, I could show you 4K video and stuff like that. I've done it before, and we're already 7 minutes in. If you're watching this long, it was to get the insight about whether or not this thing is going to truly burn in. And again, I cannot tell you that it won't. Of course, going this route, one of you commented, I don't know if it was on my unboxing or it was early on in my coverage, that you could go with the dark theme, you could do these things, and that's why I'm addressing it. You can do this, and it should help, but nothing is foolproof when it comes to this. And I can't speak to what Samsung or HP may have done with the incorporation of this panel to get ahead of it, to prevent burn-in. But hopefully we won't have that problem, because right now, as it stands, I mean, the OLED on here is beautiful, and you're not going to get more realistic blacks. You won't get a better color accuracy on a device in this class other than the Spectre X360 that we're looking at right here. So this pretty much checks every box. It just has some build quality issues. Like I said, the popping and the touchpad being the two main offenders. And if I can get that resolved on an exchange, this is likely going to be my next machine. If I cannot, that's when the Lenovo C940 may take its place. But right now, still loving this machine. Performance is great. If you have any specific questions about it, feel free to post them. I mean, this thing can do light gaming. Productivity, of course, is a cinch. Content consumption is beautiful. YouTube TV, Netflix, you name it. And of course, YouTube in general. But it's just a fantastic little machine. Very good battery life for a 4K OLED. Right now, it's showing 7 hours with 76 remaining on battery saver in the quiet profile. We'll see how well it performs since I've switched to the dark theme. I mean, I've seen a little bit of a gain, but I'm going to have to spend at least this weekend with it to really get an idea of if there are true tangible benefits. Right now, I'm seeing a little bit. That's not enough unless this really does prevent burn-in, which, it's hard to say considering where things are. Again, I don't think Samsung would want to put themselves in the ground on this. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.